The hope of any content creator is to one day be noticed by the bigger companies in their niche. I realize that by releasing this video, I'm probably going to be blacklisted by such a large VR company such as Oculus, Facebook. I probably will never be able to receive any free headsets to be able to review, try, and promote, and frankly, I'm okay with that. You can rest assured that I will never represent or be sponsored by a company that I don't trust in and believe in 100%. This video is going to be a compilation covering the concerns around the Oculus Facebook merge. I feel like some of the larger content creators have a harder time making a video like this because they have such a large audience that expects them to cover the latest and greatest when it comes to VR. And I totally get it. I don't mean to sound like I'm crapping on anybody for deciding to continue to grow their audience through Oculus. The hardware is fantastic. It's just Facebook. Regardless, know that if you decide to buy an Oculus product, I won't hate you. I won't judge you for deciding to buy one of their products. I know that everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and I'm totally fine with that. I respect that. I'll still try to the best of my ability to find Oculus solutions for a lot of the tutorials that I post, despite not owning a Oculus headset myself. Hell, even in my freebie basics live streaming ebook, I have a whole page dedicated to how you can set up a live stream with something like an Oculus Quest. Thank you to Upload VR for that, by the way. Anyway, buckle up, because this video is going to cover all of the Oculus/Facebook drama. I have some pretty mixed feelings about the Quest 2. On one hand, I can't stand all the sketchy things that Facebook has been doing in terms of privacy, as well as how they've been treating a lot of individual developers. I'll get more into that later. On the other hand, with a $300 price point, I feel like it definitely has the potential to bring more beginner and casual users into VR, and it definitely has the potential to help make VR become more mainstream. Have you ever thought of why the Quest 2 is so cheap? Besides the fact that Facebook is a billion-dollar company, they get a lot of their money by collecting data from you. In the case of your Oculus headset, from what you say and do while you're in VR, the apps that you open, the things that you look at, the experiences that you go on, where you go, in order to get ads specifically targeted to you. The problem is that Facebook hasn't exactly been transparent on exactly what kind of data they're collecting, as well as what they're using it for, other than to make your experience better. There's been a lot of drama lately ever since the Oculus Facebook merge back in 2014, and they mentioned this year going forward, anyone who buys a Quest 2 will have to link their Oculus account with a Facebook account. Existing users with an Oculus account have until January 1st of 2023 before they will decide on what to do then, I guess. Some argue, well, would you be able to play Steam games if you didn't have a Steam account? The difference is that we signed up for Steam knowing that we would get games. Facebook is a social media platform that acquired Oculus, and I think that the majority of VR users were hoping this wouldn't be the case, but unfortunately now here we are. That, along with the extensive data collection that a company like Facebook does versus a company like Vive or Valve. You might be thinking, oh, well then I'll just make a throwaway Facebook profile. Think again. According to the company's terms of service, this account must use the same name that you use in everyday life. If it's not, and if you get caught, you risk violating the terms of service and are at risk of getting your account banned and your headset basically bricked. On top of that, people are having trouble just being able to create a Facebook account to link to their Oculus account. There's an account verification system that requires you to submit some form of photographic evidence that you are who you say you are, usually in the form of an ID, but for some reason that hasn't always been working for everybody. People are also having trouble reactivating old accounts in order to be able to use and link to their Quests. And customer support hasn't really been helpful on that. They don't make it easy to be able to help you figure out how to reactivate an account. Speaking of Oculus support, it's all over the place. At first, a representative said that they will ban accounts if they are used on multiple headsets. Now, this would affect people who maybe have a Rift and a Quest, or people who have a headset and they want to be able to play with their child at the same time on two different headsets. Does that mean that you'll get banned because your kid doesn't have a Facebook account? Well, it did until a Twitter post went viral and Oculus changed their policy, which is still kind of vague and confusing, by the way, in saying that, oh no, you won't get banned. Your account won't get banned if you use it on multiple headsets, but it's still not very clear. Don't forget too, if you're making a dummy account for something like a child, Facebook doesn't like your accounts linked to not real people, and so that account is at risk of being deactivated. Facebook wants to make sure that the data that they're getting is specifically from you. They don't want to muddy it up with having multiple people use the same headsets or accounts. It's also important to know that, also based on their terms of service, if you ever decide to delete or deactivate your Facebook account, they will also delete your Oculus profile, thereby losing any access to your Oculus games and essentially making your headset a brick. There's also been some very anti-competitive behavior coming from Oculus Facebook. Some of the examples I've found specifically are from YourFit, Big Screen VR, and AltSpace VR, but they're not the only companies that have been screwed over in some way. Some can't speak out because they're on the Oculus store still, and if they say anything, they risk getting their app taken out from the store and losing a significant amount of income. In the case of Big Screen VR, one of the features they offer is movie rental. Oculus does this as well. Now, both Oculus and Big Screen VR pay a portion of their sales to movie studios. However, on top of this, Oculus wanted Big Screen VR to also pay them an additional 30% of each movie transaction that they made. This would put them essentially in the negatives. Facebook refused to negotiate and instead suggested maybe they focus on something else like games, which is something that Facebook doesn't really create, therefore wouldn't be a competitor to them. In the case for AltSpace VR, Facebook pretended like they were going to work with them to help them get out of some troubled times. What they did instead was they took what they needed to know, created Oculus Venue, then backed out of working with AltSpace last minute. And finally, in the case of YourFit, which now Oculus has their own version, Oculus Move, they had their app blocked from the Oculus store, had their app broken multiple times with mysterious firmware updates, and have also had their CTO poached multiple times. Essentially, what Facebook has done has made it difficult for competitors to want to stay on their platform by taking their ideas and making it more advantageous to want to use Facebook's version instead of the original app. They add outrageous fees, pretend to want to work with them, but then turn around and prevent their apps from working, and in some case just remove them entirely. This is really bad when it comes to fostering a healthy environment for new ideas and apps that could potentially come up from other developers. My hopes are that with the release of the Quest 2, other big companies like Vive, Valve, or hell, anyone else, okay, maybe except Google, will come in and create more competition for portable headsets. But I don't know if they're going to be able to match the Quest price point due to the big VR companies that are out there now. They don't really focus on data mining and ads as a big source of their revenue. Maybe trying something like the Quest 2, someone will get hooked on VR and will want to take it to the next level with a PC VR, something like what Vive or Valve has. Anyway, these are some of the bigger concerns floating around, but there's still more. If anyone's interested, I will post a ton of links in the description below for my sources, but do know that it's a bit of a doozy as I did a lot of research before doing this video. I promise not to do so many negative videos in the future, but I felt like this had to get out there and that I had to take my stance on it. I do hope that things will change in the future, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/AtomBombBody. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and this month I'll be doing some Population 1, some Amnesia Rebirth, as well as a little bit of Conan Exiles. As always, keep on creating and never lose that drive to improve. I'll see you on the next one. Oh shit, did it go flying? No, that was a shadow, I think.
Did you steal our book?
I heard it. I heard her. She was fucking behind me. Like, she whispered. She's gonna fucking get me. I know it.
Okay, let's go. Let's move. Let's move. Oh, the fucking phone!
It's a 4 now. It's a 4.
Where are you?
Okay, let's move it. Go ahead. Go outside. I'll back you up.
I don't want to go outside.